Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here to present you my NFL Week 10 picks. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all my NFL, NBA, and MLB videos. And if you haven't come and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily FanDuel and DraftKings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So we got a solid little 10-game slate this weekend. I think it's going to be a pretty good one. Got a couple good games out there. And yeah, man, I'm ready to jump into this. I'm going to kind of just go through and pick my top 5 or 6 picks at each position to kind of get you guys started with the player pool for this weekend. So yeah, let's jump into it. So I'm going to start off at the top. You got Lamar Jackson listed as questionable. Sat out of practice Thursday with the illness. I expect him to definitely play this weekend, and hopefully he's going to be at full strength. We got to kind of wait for the injury report going, today, tomorrow, going into Sunday. But he gets a great matchup going against the Bengals, who are the worst defense in the league, struggle against the rush. I think this is a spot where Lamar Jackson could absolutely just exploit the Cincinnati Bengals. He's going to get you, he's going to throw, around 200 yards. He's not going to throw for a crazy amount, but he's also going to get you anywhere from 60 to 100 rushing yards. And I think this is a game where you can easily go for 100 rushing yards. Give you a really solid floor, just how much he's doing in the ground game. He's got at least double-digit carries in 4 straight games. Lamar Jackson, if he's going to be at full strength, going to be healthy, he's easily the top quarterback, in my opinion, on this week's slate. Then we'll go to Patrick Mahomes going against Tennessee's defense, coming back. He's been out a couple games with the knee injury. We know Patrick Mahomes, man, anytime he steps on the floor, he has massive 4 or 5 touchdown upside. We know what we're getting from him. He's MVP candidate, even though he's been out. The guy just started the season off absolutely hot. He's already thrown for 15 touchdowns in this season. He sat out a couple games. Patrick Mahomes against Tennessee, I think that he's a really, really good play as well, with some upside for sure. Then we'll go with Drew Brees going against Atlanta. We know Atlanta never wants to play defense. Atlanta just wants to outscore everybody. Drew Brees came back 2 weeks ago against Arizona, had a really good game, 34 for 43, 373 and 3 touchdowns for 26 fantasy points. I expect this game against Atlanta to be a crazy high-scoring game. I really like Drew Brees. Has some solid weapons out there. Then we're going to move down a little bit. A couple guys a little bit on the lower end I think that we can look at. I think that we can look at Jameis Winston. I know he's a turnover machine. Don't get me wrong. But he's going against Arizona's defense, who's ranked 30th in the league, 29th against the pass. Jameis Winston, for as much as he turns over the ball, the guy still gives us fantasy upside every week. He's throwing for at least 300 yards in 5 of the 8 games, throwing the ball 44, 43, 54 times in the past 3 games. They're going to put the ball in his hand. They're going to give him the opportunity to win them some games. And then he gets a matchup against a really easy Arizona defense, ranked 30th in the league. Like I mentioned, I think this is a spot where Jameis Winston could definitely come out, strong, have a really good outing. I think he's a GPP play we could consider. On the flip side of things, I think you could definitely look at Kyler Murray as well. Tampa Bay, they're ranked 32nd in the league against the pass. They're pretty good against the rush. I think that, Kyler Murray is going to have to come out, throw the ball 30 times this game. He has some weapons to throw to. I think that this game is going to be high scoring between Tampa and Arizona. They're just going to be throwing the ball all over the yard. So I definitely think that you can also look at Kyler Murray. Moving on to running back, we'll start at the top, man. Christian McCaffrey, he's just absolutely killing it. 10.5, by far the most expensive running back, but the guy just been absolutely torching the league right now, averaging 28 fantasy points a game. He's their whole offense out there, and it's Green Bay's defense is mediocre. I would say at best they started off a little bit better, and they're kind of been coming off a little bit. I don't know if the defense is wearing down or whatnot, or offenses are figuring out how to attack them. Either way, I think that Christian McCaffrey, I don't know if I want to pay this price tag for him, but if you can figure out a way to fit him in, I definitely don't blame you. Put him in there, move on. Alvin Kamara, next guy I'm gonna talk about going against Atlanta. We talked about Drew Brees. Atlanta just wants to outscore everybody. This game should be a very high scoring game. It's easy to put Kamara in there if he's gonna get his regular workload. You gotta really like him. Saquon Barkley going against the Jets. I think that he's another guy you can look at. Him and Kamara are basically the same player. It's just kind of whoever has the best matchup that week. And this week, I do think it is Kamara, but you got, Saquon Barkley, who's going to rush the ball 15 plus times, going to get, 7, 8 targets out the backfield, going to get the red zone carries. Him, Kamara, like I said, basically the same play every week. This week, though, with the matchup against Atlanta, I'll take Kamara. Both definitely in play, though. Then we'll move down a little bit. A couple more guys I'll quickly go over. I think that you can look at Marlon Mack. I think he's definitely in play. Going against his Dolphins, who ranked 31st in the league against the rush. And we know that the Colts will hand the ball off 20 times to Marlon Mack. They've already done it a bunch of times this year. He's a really good running back. I think 7,400 is a solid spot for him. Especially against the Dolphins. He's a good guy that we can look at. I think he gives us a solid floor with touchdown upside. I'll quickly throw out Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones is the guy that you can look at as well at 7,600. Strictly GPP play for me, though. And then last but not least, I think we can also look at David Montgomery for Chicago. Going against Detroit, who is 31st in the league in defense. They're not very good. Thinking about David Montgomery, they're starting to feed the guy the ball. He's getting some more catches out, some more targets out the backfield as well right now. He's easily their red zone goal line running back. He's been racking up the touchdowns recently. He has 3 touchdowns in the past 2 games. So David Montgomery at 6,400, I think it's a really good mid-tier play. Moving on to the wide receiver position. First guy I'm going to start with, we'll start at the top and we'll work our way down. First thing first, Michael Thomas. I love this whole Saints offense. Michael Thomas, double-digit targets in every game but 2 games this season. And the thing I like about Michael Thomas more than anything is he makes the most of his targets. The ball's in his area. He tends to kind of catch the ball. 8,700. I think he's going to give us a solid floor with some good upside going against this Atlanta defense. Then we will go down a little bit. Another guy I like Godwin. I talked about Tampa Bay and Winston. Godwin's he's emerging as their number 1 wide receiver. Evans has kind of been taking a back seat to him. I think Godwin at 8,200. He's big play. He gives us, big play upside. He gets some red zone targets. I think he's a solid play on this league. I definitely rather pay $500 more for Michael Thomas. I'll make that very clear. But Godwin and Evans are in play. I would rather go with Godwin personally, but I do like both of them. Then we will go to, I think that you can look at Cooper Kupp. The guy's just absolutely getting so many targets. He's the red zone option, big play receiver. Plus, the guy just has massive upside. They're on a bye week. They're coming out. I think this is a solid spot going against the Pittsburgh defense. Pittsburgh is, they are a middle of the pack defense. They're not a horrible defense, but they're just throwing the ball to Cooper Kupp over and over. And I like the upside that this guy gives us at 8,100. Definitely a guy that I think that I'm going to consider playing this week. Couple more guys. Devontae Adams is questionable with the toe. If he ends up playing, that's the number 1 wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers. He'll definitely be in play. Julio, I'll quickly just throw him out there. I think that he's a guy that you could possibly consider. Now we'll move to a couple of value guys I think that we can look at. First, we'll go with I think that we can look at Devontae Parker for Miami. Yes, I don't like playing these Miami guys, and it hurts me saying to play him. But he's a guy that he is their best receiver. He's had touchdowns in 4 of the past 5 games, so he's their red zone target as well. At $5,800, I think that he's a guy that we can definitely consider. And then also, I talked about going against this Tampa Bay defense. They suck against the pass. We can look at Christian Kirk. He's a big play guy out there in Arizona. I understand the numbers are not jumping off the board, but he's been hurt, a lot of this season. When he's been in the lineup, he has been getting targets outside of the last game, going against a tough San Francisco defense. So San Francisco is the best defense in the league. I will throw that out there. So I'm not surprised that he had the worst game of the season last week. Expect a big bounce back in this game. That should be high scoring, like I said, between Tampa Bay and Arizona. And that's really where I'm at, as far as receivers. We'll move on to tight ends now. Next guy I'll talk about, we'll go to Travis Kelce. He's going to get his quarterback back, going against a mediocre defense against Tennessee. Targets have been there for him. I like Kelce, and he still hasn't had that monster breakout week that I'm expecting him to have soon. With his quarterback back, 6,700 I think is a good opportunity and a fair price for Travis Kelce. Mark Andrews, he's a guy I think that we can look at as well. 6,800 going against a horrible defense out there in Cincinnati. I understand the numbers have been down a little bit, but the targets have still been there outside of last week against a tough New England defense. He's another guy that we could pay up for. Then we got Austin Hooper, 6,600. I think this game's going to be pretty high scoring. Hooper's consistently getting, 7, 8 targets a game, getting a lot of red zone opportunities with three touchdowns in 3 straight games. Hooper's a fine play this week at the tight end position. Couple of value guys we'll quickly go with. I think first we'll start with, I think we can look at Mike Gesicki. I don't know how to say it. Sorry about that for butchering his name. But last week, 6 targets, caught all 6 of them for 95 yards. This guy's a GPP play for me just because, this is tied for the second most targets he's got all year. But, he has a quarterback that's going to throw the ball all over the field, and I think he's a guy that we can look at in GPPs. Going to be low owned at 5,300. Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle is another guy going against Miami. Their defense sucks. The thing about Jack Doyle is he's kind of, the targets, I wish they were a little bit higher. Definitely. He's averaging about, close to 5 targets a game, though. He gets a little bit of red zone opportunities. 5,200, I think he's another guy we could consider in GPPs. And then lastly, one more guy we can look at down here on the cheaper end of tight ends. I think we can look at Jonnu Smith. I think that Smith is a guy that we could possibly look at right now. They got some injuries out there in Tennessee. Back-to-back games with at least 5 targets, caught a touchdown. He's a GPP as well. When you're getting into the lower end of tight ends, all these guys are more GPP plays. If you want to set a safe cash game play, you're going to look at guys like Kelce, guys like Hooper. But these guys definitely, I think that you could look at them as GPP consideration. To finish it off with defenses, there's some defenses out that I'm definitely liking. First thing first, I'm going to start with the Colts. I don't care if Miami won a game. Miami is not a very good team. The Colts defense is middle of the pack. They're not the best defense, but they're not the worst. I just like the spot here against Miami, who's definitely been having trouble moving the ball all year long. The Colts are an easy play. We've been streamlining defenses against Miami. Why stop now? Then we got the Ravens going against the Cincinnati offense, who's just been struggling. A lot of turnovers in that Cincinnati offense right now. The Ravens are coming back. The Ravens defense is coming out against two straight weeks of back-to-back good games against some pretty tough teams too. You got Seattle and Russell Wilson. They had a good day against him, 2 defensive touchdowns. And then last week against Tom Brady, they had a pretty good week as well, 2 defensive touchdowns. I think that the Bengals are probably going to be the cash game. It's either the Bengals or it's the Colts are going to be the cash game defense this week. Then we will move down a little bit. A couple more defenses I think that we can look real quick before we do move down. I think you can also look at a Saints defense. Yes, Atlanta has some weapons. I understand. But they also have been turning over the ball. And, the Saints defense has been pretty good with creating turnovers so far this year. Definitely a GPP play. I would much rather play Ravens than the Colts. They have much better matchups. But you got to consider the Saints, with, all the turnovers going on out there in Atlanta. Couple more defenses on the lower end. I think you could look at the Chicago Bears, who've been a pretty stingy defense this season. They go against Matthew Stafford. Definitely, this is not the best spot for the Bears, but Matthew Stafford has been turnover prone in the past, and I think that the Bears are a solid GPP defense. And lastly, one more GPP defense I'll throw out there at the bare minimum price tag. I think that we can look at the Cleveland Browns going against Buffalo. They're going against Josh. So I like Buffalo. I like Cleveland going against Buffalo and Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been turnover prone this year. Cleveland's defense at a bare minimum price tag, basically. I think that, you can look at them as a cheap flyer to kind of help fill out the rest of your roster. So that's really where I'm at with my picks for Week 10. If you want a more in-depth analysis on today's slate, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. And hey, good luck on your guys' contest this week, all right? Peace out.